I think that's a bit underrated, to be honest. So, okay, we have our first game against Ormlis. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so we go into the Vienna Gambit with the move F4. Hi to everyone joining the stream. Hope you're having a good morning, evening, midday, wherever you're from, whatever your time zone is. Okay. Yeah, this is an interesting line of the Vienna Gambit because my opponent declines the Gambit and also doesn't go for the D5 lines. This is like a Vienna Gambit declined. D5 is not the move, though. Definitely not the move because that's a free pawn. Like, kind of the whole point of the Vienna Gambit or the Vienna game is to crack down on the D5 square. So you really just can't play that. We could take with the bishop or the pawn. I think I prefer taking with the bishop, to be honest. Good afternoon, Websy. How's it going, mate? Really surprised to see some guy with no title hit two 99% games in a row. Oh, I mean, yeah. In fairness, they weren't the longest games, so obviously it makes it easier to hit a high accuracy. This F4 pawn is going to fall at some point, by the way. I'm not too fussed about that. Ooh, we almost have tactics, but these squares are covered, unfortunately. Almost. All right, I think D4 should be fine. Should be fine. Opening this up. Morning, Dan the man. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. And also, I did play some good games of chess, obviously, but they were also in openings that I know quite well and understand quite well, so makes it a bit easier, of course. But yeah, definitely, I definitely don't get 99% games all the time, that's for sure. Okay, Queen e7. I assume my opponent's trying to castle queenside, but that's fine by me. When I take here, I will be up a pawn if I take there. Yeah, I think I will. And if my opponent does castle, I'll probably just take the knight and ruin the pawn structure. Especially with a really strong bishop. That seems like a very, very nice idea. Yeah, let's take there. Which also relieves some of the pressure on d4. And then I think I like the move queen d3. Queen d3 serves a few purposes. One of them is to protect d4 and maintain defense of d4. Also unpin my queen. Well, sorry, unpin my knight. And I have access to the a6 square if I want to utilize it. Ali Venus 88, how's it going, mate? How is it going? Okay, we do have this, but I don't really see any real follow-ups. It doesn't seem to click. So, this is an interesting move, which I really like the look of, actually. We hit the bishop, but more importantly, you can see how this could be an incredibly strong idea. And of course, I saw this move rook to d4, and my queen is under attack, but I have queen to a6 check, which is the whole point. How can you play with me? My username is down here. Also, I think there's a link to my profile in the description of the live, so you can just send me a challenge on that. And yeah, here we don't even have to take the bishop. We can instead give this check and fork absolutely everything, like I previously mentioned. Can you please help me? My areas coach. Areas coach? Tell me if I got 1900 rapid, I can play tournaments in my city. You can play tournaments at any level. Why would you need to be 1900 rapid for that? Okay, let's give a check. I'd love to go for this, but it's covered, unfortunately. Okay. Let's go for this with two different threats. Family fork, indeed, indeed. Yeah, I don't see why you would need to get to 1900 elo, mate. Dan the man, is this your first time on the channel? Yeah, checkmate is referring to international master Alex Banzea, who is also a Caro player. Here we pick up the rook in the corner, which is great. Which is absolutely great. Hi to everyone just joining. I hope you're all doing well. Please drop a like on the stream if you are enjoying it, and make sure to get your challenges in. A very comfortable game, all things considered. Nothing too difficult. I mean, d6 is a line, but white can apply a ton of pressure here. It's very nice. Also, when you're sending challenges, please make them unrated and with increment. With increment, please. So yeah, d5 just doesn't work. The best idea for black here is actually knight e4 and like knight e4, d5. It's like a classic center fork trick. So the computer wants like d4 in this position, which makes sense because you're piling on a ton of pressure. But I don't know, like something like this. I suppose the queen is actually quite safe in the center, to be fair. But okay. Okay. Dave, you have fulfilled the challenge requirements, being blitz game with increment and unrated. Okay. So part of the reason I play c6 against d4 is to try to transpose back into the Caro. So we're going to take on e4. Knight f6, which time control? Any kind of blitz time control with increment, please. And we have the Tartakower. Okay. Knight f3, believe it or not, is not a very good move. Not a very good move. Because it can be quite vulnerable on this diagonal. So let's get ourselves castled. It's not like white is worse, but it's just basically equal, if I remember correctly. And it's also just a very comfortable position for black to play, because breaking this pin is almost impossible unless you drop the knight back, which, you know, kind of sucks. Sorry, drop the bishop back when you already brought it out. So, okay, let's just keep developing the pieces. Rook e8. The rook always comes to e8 in this line. You can go queen c7 as well and threaten bishop takes h2, because if knight takes, you have this if the queen is on c7. But queen c7 is typically met with h3, which is still fine because we exert a lot of control over the f4 square, which is quite useful. Part of the reason this knight sucks on f3, by the way, I have many videos on my channel talking about this in this type of position, is that my f6 pawn dominates the knight's forward movement. So it doesn't really have any good squares to go to. Better is to bring the knight to e2 and then try to fight for the f4 square, which is what I'm referencing with queen c7. h3, of course, we're not going to take because that lets white offer the hook. We're going to retreat. Queen d3, unpinning the knight. But the queen on d3 kind of stops the bishop coming back, which I would argue it wants to do. And also, like, where are you going to put the knight anyway? There's still nowhere good to put the knight. So you're not really solving the problem of the pressure, necessarily. Okay, well here we can just snap, because the bishop has blocked the queen's defense of f3. And this isn't over for white, because white can try and generate some kind of counterplay. But it's very difficult. Very difficult. I think we should start with knight b6, just hitting the bishop. I think given the opportunity, I would take the bishop. Yeah, he's going to try and do this, which makes a lot of sense. We could try and do our own battery here. That's an option. We could also go knight to d5, hitting the bishop, exerting control over f4, which is an important square. If knight d5, bishop c2, threatening queen h7, we'd probably have to play the move g6, which is fine, really, because white has no good way into the position. And if knight d5 take, I think that trade is fine for us. But yeah, I think I'm going to play that. Can't find my ID. There are underscores in the name, but I think there's also a link to my profile in the description of the stream, so you should be able to find that. Okay, my opponent is trying to do this, as expected. I think just queen to d7 looks pretty good here, hitting the h3 pawn, which you can't go rook g1 because I will mate you. You also can't play king h2 because my bishop covers that square, which is very, very useful. And if my opponent has to go king to g2, which he most likely does have to do, well, then you can't play rook g1 anymore. Most likely, my opponent will play rook h1, which, you know, I have had before in games, which just isn't great. You should also be aware of this, but that's currently covered by the bishop, so we can't play that just yet. We also can't sack the rook and then do it, because the pawn will take. So we almost have tactics. Almost. Bishop f5 is tempting, but I think bishop takes d5 works there. So that doesn't seem to quite work. We have knight to f4 if we want it, but I don't know how good that is. I'm not quite sure. What else can we do? What else can we do? Unclear exactly how we break through here. But I'm going to go knight to f4. The computer might hate me for this, because we also do have opposite colored bishops now, which is more drawish. However, I think with the weak white pawn structure, we should still be good, and we can probably just go for something like this. Bishop c2 I can just meet with g6, and white's king is still incredibly exposed. Yeah, he does go rook h1, which covers h2 and h3, making these plans less effective. But I would argue we still have a great position. I think this is quite a nice move. Rook to e5, if take then take. And here I'm swinging my rook over to g5, or h5 maybe. Okay, that's a good move, covering this. It's actually quite a strong move. Maybe we just double up. Just double up. We can always go to e2 instead and change the plan. So you still can't take, obviously, because your queen hangs. If bishop to d2... Oh, wait. Oh, have I messed up? Because previously we had this check, which got us out of bishop c2. Because it threatens mate and guards the queen. That's actually... Well, it's not mate, technically. Yeah, he does go for it. It's not mate. Oof, no, that's not amazing. Not gonna lie, we've messed up a good bit there. So I'm just gonna have to allow this. I don't see a better option. I think we still have a ton of pressure, though, which is... okay. Okay. Well, this allows us to defend g7. This is alright now. This is alright. I think. Let's drop the king to d8. Bishop's quite vulnerable. We also have, like, no time, though. So this is going to be tough. Okay. There's no rook to e1. No rook e1. This is actually pretty good. We're down a pawn, but white is completely dominated here. We could consider this as well. Okay, let's hit the queen. Ask her what she's doing. I know I could take on b2, but I want to hit the queen. Now I'm going to go queen to f4. Again, I can take on b2, but I think I have more important things to go for. Yeah, I'm not too concerned about that. I think our attack is quicker. How do I go about this? Oh, yeah. Probably this. And then this. And then if here, then this is an issue. And I'm threatening queen h2. There we go. GG. Ooh, that was a tough game. That was a tough game. My opponent found some good counterplay in that position. Well, in that game, sorry. As I said, the knight on f3 is a big problem from the opening. And as we found out, it ended up just being quite the weakness. And after bishop e3, we have a clear advantage. But my opponent fought back pretty well. Yeah, knight f4 was not the move. Probably doubling up is better. No. Is this better? No. Ah, yeah, okay. F5, F4, that's a common idea, which I missed. But okay. Knight F4 check. We have opposite colored bishops, but with queens and rooks still on the board and a weak white king, like anything can happen there. Anything can happen. Good morning to GNA, by the way. Good morning. I hope the kickboxing went well. Yeah, I won my first fight by knockout, and then I lost my second fight by decision, but I have no idea how I lost it. To be honest, I knocked my opponent down twice, so I'm not sure how I could have lost, but whatever. And yeah, rook e5 is the best move. h4 is the only response. Here, I have to go rook h5, which I should have played, and I did c, but yeah, this is not great. Bishop c2. Oh, I still have rook h5. Oh. Yeah, I'm an idiot. I'm just an idiot. And yeah, here, I'm actually fine. I'm actually fine after this check, because the king runs to the d file. This is really hard to defend. Really hard. And obviously, as we end up seeing, queen f4 kind of ends the game. I had to figure out what the mating pattern was, but once I realized it was bishop to f4, the game is over, because if you move the rook, then I'll mate you in some manner on f2. And my opponent, of course, moved the queen, which allows queen h2 mate. So GG. Let's go to the next game. Emerald Fox. I've played you a few times, I think, in some of the streams previously. So good luck. Good luck. If you're enjoying the stream so far, please drop a like if you haven't already. Really appreciate it, guys. The support recently has been insane on the channel. So yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. And we go for this a3 Sicilian. My opponent plays the objectively best line with g6. But I really like these positions personally. I've got loads of videos on my channel in these lines. Bishop a2 is designed so that d5 doesn't come with an attack on the bishop. Okay, let's go d3. And we'll see how my opponent continues. Typically one of these moves, but d6 is a move as well. h4 just gets met with h5, so let's go f4. Thanks, checkmate. Appreciate it. What to focus if I want to reach 1500? I'm 1100 right now. It depends on what you think your game lacks, I think. It really depends. There's no one-size-fits-all answer. I mean, I've got some, like, students who have really good tactics, but they miss some, like, more obvious positional ideas. And then you have other people with completely the other problem, where their tactics suck, but their positional chess is quite good. So it really just depends on the player. There's no one-size-fits-all answer. So one of the main ideas of this position, which I really, really like, is to play c3, play knight g3, and try to make f5 work. Because as you can see, that is the pawn break for the white pieces to try and open up the white king with all our pieces pointing... Sorry, open up the black king with all our pieces pointed towards the king side. So that's what I'm going to try to make happen here. Okay, bishop d7, knight to g3. We'll play c3. What is exclamation mark join? What is that? I don't know how commands work. I also don't think I have commands, so... Okay, c3. c3 is useful just to control the d4 square, which, you know, my opponent could put a knight on, and it would be quite a strong knight. So I don't want to allow that. Okay. We could go bishop to e3, I think. Just because, you know, you don't want to allow c4 with a check and then taking on d3. That would kind of ruin our structure and allow unnecessary counterplay. b4 also doesn't work because after takes you can't take because of this, which is part of the reason I prefer bishop e3 over king to h1. You should note my bishop is undefended, but thankfully the knight is not on f6, so the knight can't come to g4 to apply pressure because it's on e7, which is a subtle difference in the position. No, if you want to join, if you want to play me, literally just send me a challenge on chess.com. That's all you have to do. All you have to do. By the way, tomorrow's video is a game against the London, where I use my own opening, the Centurion system, and I think I get a position which is like minus 1.5 in 4 moves, which is pretty cool. Tushar, how's it going, mate? Hope you're having a good day. And okay, I really want to execute the move f5. I think I should start with knight to h4, which not only adds pressure, but also opens up my rook. What's my name? My name is Alex. Is this your first time on the channel, Tushar? Okay, rook b8. My opponent clearly wants to make b4 happen. I'm not too concerned, though. F5. If all the trades happen, we have enough pieces, so let's execute it. Our entire position is built around making this happen and opening up the pieces against the black king. Queen g4 could be coming in at the correct moment. We are currently threatening the move f6 with a simple fork. First time on the channel, mate. You're a very lucky guy. Very lucky guy to finally be here with some top tier chess content. Top tier. Okay. Take. Of course, we lose a bit of control over the center, but I don't actually care. I don't care. Also, worth noting, the knight on h4 is a much more stable piece than normal because the queen isn't on d8 with potential discoveries. Taking does not look good. That looks really bad. Really bad. Yeah, this is fantastic. We're kind of getting everything we want here because the material is equal. Okay, now it's not equal. Why would you not take? Okay, well, knight to h6. You can all see why that is such a strong move. Learning a lot from you. Need a challenge. Well, I hope you continue to learn a lot. Okay, we could go ahead and take on f7. I don't see a reason not to. I think I'm going to take with the knight because this is now threatened. The issue is, if you play, like, rook takes, then I don't really want to trade the rooks. To be honest, I'd rather keep the pressure with my rook here. And again, this is an idea. I can also bring my queen into the action, and I'm up a full piece at this point. Bit confused as to why my opponent didn't take the knight, although it's very weakening in fairness. Okay, he sacks the exchange to try to save the position. But the position is pretty dire. Pretty dire. Let's get the queen involved. Queen f3, hit the knight, threaten rook to f8 ideas, which lead to mate. Also preparing to triple up. What is the time there? It's 10:27 in the morning. Okay. That's a move. That's a move. Take here, check here. Yeah, that works. That works. Always look for sacrifices. Thankfully as well, h6 is also covered. And we can give a check on f7. And after the king moves, we can give a check on f6 with checkmate, because the bishops are absolute monsters. As I said ages ago, back here, I said that f5 is the idea. And if the pawns come off the board, the bishops open up. And as we saw, as the game progressed, the bishops did open up and became absolute monsters. Hello there, champ. Get me a bottle of water. I've got a bottle of water here. I know you want me to say it. What were you up to, GNA? What were you up to? Yes, my opponent did resign. No, sorry, he didn't resign. He got mated. But yeah, GG Emerald Fox. You played quite a good position, as in against my A3 setup. You did play very well, but it's just a very difficult system to play against. Okay. When you're sending me challenges, guys, let me remind you, please make it blitz with increment and unrated. Okay? Awesome. Okay, my opponent plays the Scandinavian. Not gonna lie, I hate facing the Scandinavian. And this is the system that I like to play. GG, hoorah. GG. Can you play next? Well, if you send me a challenge, you certainly have a shot. 3 in the afternoon there. Okay. Yeah, I think... So would that be India, which I think is 5 hours ahead? I think so. Okay, yeah, so I personally play like this against the Scandinavian because I hate the Scandinavian. I want no part in the theory. And I also like the fact that if I delay the move knight to c3, then I can instead play the move c4 and then knight c3, because c4 comes with tempo on the queen, and my knight on c3 doesn't block my c-pawn. So I really like playing like this against the Scandi. Just a different system. Because every Scandinavian player studies the immediate knight to c3, so I like to mix it up. Okay. My opponent goes kingside. A lot of people go queenside, sorry, in the Scandi, but he's going bishop to d6. I mean, he would have done that already if he was going to do that. Let's go bishop to e3. Bishop e3 is a move I like in these systems because it allows my queen to move, and after bishop takes, the d-pawn doesn't hang at the end of the line. As producing for a client, I don't know why I didn't take your knight with the pawn, lol. Yeah, you probably should have taken it. But okay, you live and you learn. Live and learn. Okay, my opponent defends b7. The question is, do I want my rooks on e1, d1 or c1, d1? That's the big question. I don't know. That's tough. I'm going to say e1, d1. That's what I'm going to say. Also defends the bishop, which allows me to go knight e5 and have to take, so I don't have to retreat my knight. I can take with the rook. My opponent covers that, so let's go rook a to d1. I could also go rook c1, e1, but I think I need a rook on the d file. I think that much is obvious. So we have all our pieces developed now and in the game, applying pressure to various points in the position. And now for improvement. Knight b6. Have you done your breakfast, buddy? I have not eaten yet today, no. I don't eat before I work out. Also, I'm going to play knight to e5 because my opponent relinquished control. I don't really eat breakfast that much, to be honest. Like, if I do, it'll just be, like, some chicken wings or something. Alright, this is a nice position. Bishop f4 is prepared. Bishop f4, knight g6 is a nice idea. Go bishop f4 now. If take, then take. Okay, if this, then this. The queen moves. And now d5 is a very tempting move. Take. Yeah, surely. Also, the queen has to keep an eye on b7, bear in mind. Yeah, d5. I think my whole position is building up for this. My whole position is ready for this. So let's do it. Should I add you as a friend to issue challenge? If you want to, yeah. How would you decide when to open the center? Great question. Well, I have all my pieces fully developed, staring at my opponent's position, and my opponent isn't fully developed yet, right? The rooks are not in the game. So it's basically a 5 versus 3 currently. It's 5 versus 3. And I have a clear pawn break, and if these lines open up, it can only benefit me. So, I think I should open up the center. I see no other improving moves. My opponent should probably take, because otherwise d6 looks pretty dismal. Am I on a diet or something? No, not particularly. I just find that I can focus better if I don't eat too early on. And I also like to fast before I work out. I really just like the feeling of it, to be honest. And it also helps to burn excess fat, which is just good, obviously. Again, I'm not on any kind of diet. I just like to live that way. But that's just me. Yeah, hopefully that cleared that up for you, Speed Up. I also don't recognize your name. Are you a regular viewer? And if so, get in the comment section. Intermittent fasting. Yeah, basically. Okay, let's take. And the thing is, the position is obviously equal in terms of material. Also, we potentially have this. Take. We also have this, threatening mate. Although f6 looks not so fun to deal with, because then 2 pieces are hanging. I could retreat the bishop to c3 and prepare... Bishop d4. Rook e8. Queen over. f6. Can't find my... Oh, I need to hurry up. I will answer the comments afterwards. I need to hurry up. This is definitely a move. Probably the move. Yeah, it's got to be bishop g7. I was trying to find a way not to play bishop g7, but I think it just wins a clean pawn. That's an interesting move. Okay, let's take it. Bishop takes is probably forced. I mean, you could take with the rook, but it looks risky. I could also just bring my bishop back. Okay. Let's just drop the bishop back. Oh, maybe I could have gone queen to g6. Queen to g3, sorry. But this is still very good. Let's do this. This is the idea. Plain and simple. Also, trading queens is fine, because I'm up a pawn, and my opponent's king is very, very stranded. I don't have to trade queens, though. I think this is an interesting move. Hitting the bishop. The double pawn I don't really care about. Let's give it a check. Yeah, oh my god. I have no time, bruv. Oh my god. This is completely winning. I just go rook g7. You can't defend the pawn. If you pushed and I just do this. And I threaten this. And I threaten the pawn. But I just completely ran out of time. Oh my god. GG. GG go Terry. Regardless of my horrific time management, very interesting game. GG. Hopefully this provides an interesting option to play against the Scandinavian defense, by the way. This immediate knight f3, bishop e2 line, going for c4, d4. It just, you take a ton of space, really fun. Get the rooks on the open files. By the way, e1, d1 was definitely the way to go. And yeah, it was just a very clean game. And I think we opened the center at the exact right time. But yeah, that's very annoying. But it is what it is. I'm not playing these games to play perfect chess. I'm playing these games to provide entertainment and to provide education. Okay, let me catch up on the chat. Let's get the challenges in. How long have I been playing chess for? About 10 years. Something along those lines. Not consistently, necessarily, but about 10 years. Can't find your ID. Remember, there are underscores in the name, but also I think you can just click the link in the description. Catch up later. Bye. See you, Tusha. Is he snipping you? I assume you mean sniping. I don't think so. I don't know if I could commentate my game and play it, especially Blitz. Yeah, it's definitely difficult. Let's just say there's a reason that I play 15-minute plus 10-second rapid in the speedrun videos. Let's just say there's a very good reason for that, right? Because otherwise there's just no time. Oh, I've got a Chess 960 challenge. Let's do it. That'll be fun. Chess 960. I really like Chess 960. Okay, how am I going to open? I think f4 makes sense. think that makes sense. Okay. Let's go d4. I think I want to go knight to d3. Just because the knight in the center like this can be quite strong. Did you see a mate when you picked free pawn with bishop? I don't think I saw a mate. Okay, let's go c3. Just fully defend d4 and open up my bishop. Not sure where I'm going to put this knight just yet. I think I want to go queen to f3 to get the queen involved. Also, I could prepare kingside castle. This is a... yeah, very interesting position. Okay. Bishop to d5, stopping this. But we just have knight to e3, attacking the bishop. If my opponent wants to trade this knight for this bishop, I am more than happy to do so. I can also go knight to e5 if I want. Okay, that's a move. That's a move. "4:40 a.m. here. Where do you live? Are you in the US? Where do I want to put the knight? Let's go e5. Let's go e5. Get it in the center. The Scandi is the only good opening as black, but I think I blundered somewhere. I don't think you blundered necessarily. I think playing against the setup that I was playing is just very difficult. It's very difficult. It's a very abnormal positional setup against the Scandinavian. So you probably just haven't experienced playing against that all that often. What's a good trade for an... what is a good trade? A knight for a bishop or a bishop for a knight in this game? Well, I think that this light squared bishop for black is very good. So I want to get rid of it. This bishop I'm not too concerned about because it's blocked in by so many things. That's why I didn't put my knight on d3 immediately. I played d4 first so that my bishop would open up. And I didn't go knight to c3 because I wanted to play c3 to open up the bishop. Okay, let's take with the f pawn because I'm going to win the f5 pawn because the knight is under attack. So we're going to go up a pawn most likely. Chicago, Illinois. I really want to go to America. I really want to go. Seems like such a cool place. Never been. I mean, I don't think I've ever left Europe, technically. I mean, I've been to Turkey. So if you count that as Asia, then I've been to Asia. But if you don't, then I haven't. Okay, let's go queen to f3. Hitting this, maintaining pressure on the f file. Probably bishop f2, castle kingside. I can also go e4 at some point. I could also move this knight somewhere. Like, for example, if c6, blocking my queen's scope. Oh, no, I can't really consider this. Trying to get into d6, because that's defended so many times. That isn't really going to get me anywhere. Okay, well, that's free pawn, so thank you very much. There's nothing. I can even go bishop f2, actually, which is even better, preparing to castle. And you just can't save the rook. You can't save the rook. A very strange chess 960 position here. But yeah, I'm just going to win this rook. Also, if you didn't know, chess 960 is also called Fischer Random Chess because Bobby Fischer invented it. And I actually just finished writing my university dissertation mostly on Bobby Fischer. So once that's been like marked and graded and everything, I might put that like somewhere on my channel if any of you are interested. Used to live in Germany when my parents were stationed there. I've been to Germany a few times. I quite like Germany. What did you think of it? Like compared to the US? For me personally, I really liked the trains in Germany. They were like unbelievably efficient, which you can't say about the UK. Try to play the Caro-Kann, we'll see where it gets me. Oh, see if you're going to beat me. Well, if I play the Caro-Kann, then it's kind of inevitable, isn't it? Alright, we have plenty of time here as well. And we are up, like, what? A rook and a couple pawns? Josh Harris, how's it going, mate? Thank you very much for the support. I appreciate it. 2:44 a.m. from Arizona. Dude, go to bed. I mean, I love the fact that you're here watching my stream, but go to bed, honestly. Okay. GG. Very interesting game. Love me a bit of Chess 960. Alright, challenges coming in. Let's go Protein Bar the 14th. A fantastic username. GG bro, did not see that at all. Yeah, that's the thing with Chess 960. Like, normally you'd have a bishop on c8 guarding the b7 pawn, but the bishop was on b8 instead. Alright, Caro-Kann, exchange variation, Panov attack. This is what I play with white, and it's one of the hardest lines to face, in my opinion. My opponent goes bishop to g5, which is also what I play. You must have learned this from my videos. And I think oh no, bishop e6. Bishop e6 is the move. I almost forgot. Whoa, thank you very much for the donation, Josh Harris. That is very generous. Really appreciate that. I have no idea what that currency is, though. No idea what that is. New Taiwan dollar. Oh, are you from Taiwan? Well, I don't think taking is good for white, because now this bishop, like, why is it there? What is the point? Thank you very much for this super chat. I'm really appreciate that. Yeah, this bishop kind of sucks now. Against the bishop to e6 lines, you can consider pushing c5. You are from Taiwan. Ah, cool. Yeah, Taiwan seems like a relatively cool place. Obviously, you got all the political stuff, but this looks like a very good move. If here, bishop d2. Okay, not so fun. Queen b6. Even rook c8 looks decent. Queen b6, though, I think I like. The difference is, as opposed to queen a5, is one, I'm applying pressure to d4, which is an isolated pawn and therefore very weak. Two, I'm applying pressure to b2, which is also very weak. And three, I don't want to take here with the c pawn. I'd rather take with the queen. Do I play the Scandinavian? No. No, I do not. I hate it. Trashcan 856. Hello, thank you for your videos. Helped out a lot. No problem at all. Very glad to hear it. That's all I'm here to do. Try and provide some kind of entertainment and as much education as I possibly can. At the same time. Okay. If he... Yeah, I think that's just a blunder. Knight c3. If this, then this. Removing the defender. And if takes, I can take with the queen. And if takes, I can take. That's the big difference. Have you played the London system? Not really. But tomorrow's video is me playing my own system, the Centurion system, against the London system. So, for those of you who do play the London or hate the London, then it's going to be a very interesting video. Because, my opponent was rated like 2100, and he was completely lost in like 4 moves. Like, that's big for a 2100. Can you play me? You can. You can send me a challenge. Send me a challenge on chess.com. Agent G5, how's it going, mate? You're one of... I'd consider you an OG. So, how's it going, mate? Ooh, that can't be a move. Okay, well, knight e4 looks incredibly natural, hitting the bishop and the queen. Now we're just up a piece, which is great. Will I play bullet? No, I kind of suck at bullet, not gonna lie. And also, my commentary will really suck in bullet, so reach 1,000 ELO through London. The London's a great opening, don't get me wrong, it's fantastic. I just hate it, so... kind of just, jumping on the London hate bandwagon. But it's a very good opening, right? It's a very good opening, which is part of the reason I hate playing against it. I personally have no desire to play the London system, really, because I've always played e4. Also, we can take the queen now. If takes, we can take and allow takes and be up an exchange and a piece, But better is to take on f3 first with check. Danger levels. Then we can take on c6. And now we're up like a bishop and a rook. So it's even better. Even better. 3-0. No, you've got it. You have to include increment. That's the rule. Have to include increment. Let's go bishop c4 because I want to play the move e6. So I move the bishop with tempo to get it out the way and get my bishop out. Very young in Germany. But I remember eating Wiener Schnitzel. Probably chicken fried steak here in the States too. Yeah, I knew a lot of Germans from school. I actually dated a German for a bit. And yeah, I mean, very, very interesting people. Like, very different, but also very similar to, like, the Brits. Me, of course, being a Brit myself. But yeah, pretty cool people. And Germany as a place was pretty cool. I've been to the Rhineland, and I've been to Hamburg. And both of them very different places, but both very cool places. First time on the channel, Samuel J. So far, you explain your thinking tactics very well. Keep up the awesome work. I play c6 car against everything white plays. Doing well so far. Well, I do that exact same thing. So, love to hear it. Have I been to France? Yeah, I've been to France a few times. I don't think I really have any desire to go to Paris, to be honest. It kind of looks like it sucks. Like, no offense. I might be wrong, but it kind of looks like it sucks. All right, let's apply pressure. What's my FIDE? My FIDE rating is a bit weird because in England, there's not many tournaments that are FIDE rated. There is one that is happening in a couple months, which I think I'm going to play, which is only like, I think, an hour drive away from me, so that's not too bad. So I might play in that. Are you in uni right now? Almost finished. Yeah, I don't think you can actually send challenges until the current game is over, but it is now over. So GG Protein Bar the 14th. As I said, the Panov attack is one of the hardest lines to face with the black pieces. It's what I now play with the white pieces. And Bishop G5 is also the line that I play with the white pieces. After Bishop to E6, either you should take or you should just keep developing. You can also push C5 in some lines, although here we do have knight to E4. But yeah. Taking on D5, the evaluation is like -3. It's just not that good. But okay, GG. Very interesting game. Have you ever heard about or played the Henrik Carlsen variation? I have not. What is that? Yeah, I think Paris is probably quite similar to London in that sense. Like, some areas are just horrible and some are really nice. I get that kind of impression. Okay, Nicholas Carlsen, let's go. Okay, we have the Caro, and I'm, of course, going to play the Panov, as I said. Almost done with my comp science thingy. My brother does comp sci and maths at uni. So, oh, okay, this is a move. I think knight c3 is the move. If take, I believe we have d5. Or, oh wait, no, maybe we take here. I'm not actually 100% sure. Okay, queen a5, wow. Well, that doesn't look very good. Let's take on d5. Because that's just a free pawn. Am I only playing bullet? No, I'm playing blitz. And this position is, it looks almost lost for black already. And I mean, on move 6, that's pretty damn good to be, okay, maybe not completely winning, but far, far better. The main problem, I think, is bishop to b5 check. And the queen isn't on d8 to take back. That's the issue that I see. What's my major? History. Okay. I don't have to be concerned about this knight. You can take back on d5. I don't really care about that pawn. I mean, maybe I could go queen b3 to defend the pawn, but I mean, knight to f6 will just attack again. Naruto, hi. Unfortunately for you, I prefer JoJo's, and JoJo just announced that they're animating Steel Ball Run, finally. So I'm really excited. Okay, now I'm going to go queen b3 to defend, because f6 does stop knight to e5, but it also takes away the f6 square from the knight, so the knight cannot apply more pressure to the d5 square. I'm ready to castle and just continue with the plans of the position. Obviously, the black king absolutely sucks. I can maybe go for this kind of maneuver if I really want to, but it's unnecessary. Let's play a... Oh no, there's... Ooh, my opponent just missed knight d3, and so did I. So did I. Yeah, JoJo's is the best anime. Best anime. So, unlucky Naruto fans. But alright, alright. This just looks very comfortable. Probably something like Rook E1. Still will run his peak. It is. I did read some of the manga. But to be honest, I got like maybe a quarter of the way through. And then I was like, to be honest, I think I'd rather just watch it when it comes out. So, JoJo Part 7, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Whoa, okay, let's give it a check. Could you share your process of preparing for a tournament? I mean, I suppose I can when I come around to preparing for it. I will have to be a bit more diligent with preparing my lines. Let's go here to stop this and then do something like this. But I mean, currently, I don't really do any preparation. Like when I play over the board games, like in my chess league, I'll check my opponent's database. Also, this is now a threat because I take away this. I do check my opponent's databases, but a lot of the time there's not really anything on them, which is really annoying. And also, I don't think it's that big a deal, really. But for a tournament, yeah, I will definitely book up on some of the openings I'm less confident with. We'll definitely have to do that. So I can share some of my process for that when I come around to it. All right, that is a free knight. That's great. I don't really want to trade queens. I see no need. I can also do this when I want, which is very, very nice. These pawns do a good job of keeping my pieces out, but they also stop my opponent's pieces from developing, so that's fine by me. Let's take and do this. Yeah, that's very nice. Thank you very much. How do I get my knight out? Oh, I can do it a different way. I can do it like this. Awesome. How old are you? I'm 21 years old. Will I consider doing tournament vlogs? Is that technically allowed? I don't know. I could ask the organizer. I mean, it would probably bring decent publicity to the tournament. I mean, my YouTube channel certainly isn't the biggest, but I mean, like right now we've got 86 viewers on a live stream. I don't watch many live streams myself, but my brother says that that's pretty good. So I don't know, maybe they'd be down for that. I'll have to ask. What age was I introduced to chess? My dad introduced me to chess very young. Like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years old, something like that. And he used to beat me like all the time at first, and then in like a couple years time, he just couldn't really compete with me anymore because I was just learning quickly. And he was encouraging me to like learn more chess myself. My dad is by no means a good chess player, but he's very good at teaching. So he was able to teach me the basics. You look Ed Gamble. Is Ed Gamble a person? Is that an insult? I hope that's not an insult. That's a free bishop. I'll have to search him up. I'll have to see if you're right or not. Okay, my opponent resigns. GG, Nicholas. Very interesting game, and I get to showcase why I love the Panov attack so much. We were just better for the majority of the game. I did allow knight d3 here, but I don't think the computer cares. Oh, it wants king d2. That is hilarious. Oh, the knight is trapped. That's really funny. GG, Nicholas. GG. Okay, let's Google him. Let's Google, while the challenges are coming in, Ed Gamble. Okay, well, I don't think that's an insult. I'd say he's a pretty good-looking guy. So that's not bad. I don't think I really look like him, though. I don't see it. I don't see it. His chin is way different. But I'll show you guys what I'm looking at. One sec. One sec. Do you lot think I look like this guy? Because I don't see it. I don't see it. I mean, he also looks British, but I'm also only half English, like, by blood. So, you know. Anyway. Okay, let's get into the next game. Let me know your thoughts on that, guys. Let's go for another fellow Brit. J.G. Riordan. I have no idea how to say that. Alright, let's go. I can pre-move c6 because I play c6 against everything. By the way, if you're enjoying the stream so far, please drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. You're 20, he's 40, maybe you look like him in 20 years. That would be pretty good going to look like him in 20 years, I reckon. Okay, my opponent plays the English, and I just play a Caro-Kann against this. If he goes for... yeah, he does go for this. I like to play sort of a Slav / London / Caro-Kann setup, where I get the bishop to f5, I don't want to take on c4, and I basically just say do something. Like, if you take, then I'll take. Perfect. The only way to open up this bishop is to execute e4 somehow. I really want to thank you because you took me from 900 to 1300 in a year. That is really good progress. But one thing I will say is give yourself that credit. Like, that's you who did that. You might have learned things from me, but that's also down to you, like, taking in the information that I'm talking about and focusing not only on your own chess, but when you're watching my videos, right? So that's your doing. Okay, that is lovely. We love to see c5 because now we go e5. We go e5, and my opponent can't ruin my pawns in the center. And now I think that we are definitely better in this position. My bishop is a fantastic piece. Okay, let's take. And do I want to take a sec? Do I want to take the rook? Nah, I think I'll go queen e7 instead. I'll go queen e7. But Agent G, you've been an OG on the channel, so if I want anyone to make progress, it's going to be guys like you. Alright, queen e7 I'm doing so that I can take on a8 with my rook if my opponent takes. And also, I just want to get the queen involved in the center. Is trading a minor piece for 2 central pawns worth it? Normally, no. Normally, no. But it depends on the position. Everything depends on the position. Okay, well, I think I should probably take on d4. That looks like the most logical move. Pushing just locks things up. Why won't you play against me? I mean, I'm getting like a lot of challenges every single time. So it's very difficult for me to make sure everybody gets a game. That's part of the reason that I'm playing Blitz. I prefer Rapid, but the more people I can play, the better, right? So I'm not intentionally ignoring everyone. I'm getting a stream of challenges every single time, and I just have to pick one at random, right? Have I ever faced the Von Hennig Gambit? Pinot. I have a whole video on that. A whole video talking about how to beat the Von Hennig Gambit. You've got to watch it. You'll love it. You will love it. But yes, I have faced the Von Hennig Gambit, and it's really annoying. So I came up with a really good system to play against it, and I have fantastic win rates against it now. That's a strong move. However, I think I can do this. Whenever a piece or a pawn moves, be aware of what it leaves behind / no longer does. Now, I'm still dropping a pawn. Still dropping a pawn, but it's equal material. Also, e3 sucks. I could play take knight here, but I think knight here first might be better. Let's do this. Okay. Maybe doing this was stronger. I don't know. Maybe. It's tough to evaluate. Philip, how's it going, mate? I'm doing very well. Feeling very energetic. I'm really looking forward to lunch, though. I don't know what I'm going to have, but... oh, that's a move. Is it? Is that particularly good? There. Yeah, that is good. Huh. That's a strong move. If here... Here. That looks pretty good for me. If there... Probably this? Good counterplay. Good counterplay. Here. Here. Not sure if I like that. What a... No, because I have to move the rook. I have to move the rook. I think I have to go for this. Here I have this, and I survive. Damn, my opponent's found some fantastic counterplay. Really, really strong counterplay. I may have to try and draw a pawn down rook endgame, because my chances are waning. I probably should have gone knight to e4 earlier on, to be honest. Probably knight to b3 was a mistake, but yeah, you always make mistakes. Always make mistakes. Now it's just about, can I recover from it? My knight is a little bit stranded, but I have ways of getting it back into safety. So, the knight should be okay. Knight should be okay. Check here. That's fine. There's not this anyway. What I don't want to do is allow this to go into a king and pawn endgame, because then I'm probably losing. But as long as I keep rooks on the board, I can probably draw it. If the minor pieces come off, that most likely increases my drawing chances. Okay. Let's get the king up. This still can't be played. F5 looks very strong, locking down the light squares, because he's just committed all his pawns to dark squares. Yeah, that's a good move, in fairness. Let's go knight e4. Yeah, there is that. Oh, yeah, that's a little bit annoying. Just a little bit annoying. Very annoying. If takes rook d2. Rook d2. Take. I think that's okay. And I have a very sinister plan. A very sinister plan. And I don't actually think that white can stop it, because the king is completely out of squares. The only thing I had to calculate was take and rook h6, but I had king g7 hitting the rook. But yeah, that's mate. Wow, okay. My opponent played incredibly well that game. Incredibly well. GG. But yeah, that mate, you played really well. For 1,000 rating? That was really impressive. Really impressive. I assume you have a better rapid. Yeah, your rapid's like 1,300. That makes sense. I think you struggle with time. But yeah, what I was calculating was takes. Yeah, takes. Rook here, rook h6, but I have king here. And the best that white can do is this, which is still very hard to defend. But I think the point is that after king h5, I'm going to win the pawn regardless of what you do. And my rook hopefully can draw, but it's, again, very difficult. Very, very difficult. Yeah, very interesting game. I think back here, I should have played this. Okay, apparently I should take first. And then knight b3. I did see this, but I thought rook a7. Take. Ah, okay. That makes a lot of sense. Check here. Knight d5, knight d5, rook d5. And this is just a complete draw. How do I avoid stream snipers? To be honest, I don't. I mean, there's not a lot I can do. I mean, I could introduce a longer delay, but then you guys in the chat, it takes you longer for your questions to get answered, which I feel like ruins the experience more than me losing a couple games because I get stream sniped. You know, I'd rather you guys get the benefit of quicker responses than me win more games of chess for my own ego, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Let me please reiterate. When you are sending me challenges, keep them, please, unrated, blitz, with increment. Thank you very much. Okay. Let's go. Oh my god. A lot of challenges coming in. You could do what Danya does and set verbal traps. I could actually. That would be quite funny. I could. Heading to bed 3:10. Yeah, go to bed, mate. Go to bed. Thank you for joining the stream, but get some sleep, mate. Okay, my opponent plays the Pirc, or the Piers, depending on how you pronounce it. I do not play d4 against this. I don't. I play it like a Vienna. And if you were watching earlier in the stream, you'll remember a Sicilian game that looked rather like this. So I like to play in a very similar fashion. It makes it much easier for me to play my openings when they're very similar. Okay, e5. Let's go knight to f3. And this is kind of like a Vienna, except the bishop's on g7, which isn't particularly good. Okay. Okay. Bishop f7. Awesome. If you've been keeping up with the recent videos on the channel, I think I posted one a couple days ago titled something along the lines of the Vienna. Well, it was something to do with the Vienna Gambit. And we got this same tactic. This is why I play the same type of setup against the Pirc as I do the Sicilian and as I do against d4 e5, because the ideas transpose. Okay. Do I normally stream on YouTube or Twitch? YouTube. Because my audience is on YouTube. And yeah, we had a very similar position to this in that video, where we're up a pawn. My opponent didn't take because he saw the tactic, where I would win the bishop, and because this comes with check, you can't take my queen. And I actually used the pin against you, and I would go up 2 pawns there. So, you know, even worse. All right, my opponent puts a ton of pressure on my knight. Let's just shift the king over. Just get it out of this, which I don't want it on. If you take my bishop, that's fine. That's really not a problem. Okay, c5. Not too concerned. Let's go... I have a few options. I'm going to go knight to d5. I like the look of that move. I think the knight has served its purpose on c3. Because both the black pawns are also pushed up, black can't exert any control over d5, really. So... oh, that's a good move. Well, no, this isn't very good, though. So that's okay. Because I have knight takes e5, I think. Yes, we've discovered check. And all the way back, when I played bishop takes f7, my opponent didn't take because of this. And again, we go for the same tactic in a different manner. Let's take the bishop. Now we are up 2 pawns with some devastating ideas along the f-file. I do lose my strong light-squared bishop, which is slightly annoying, but, you know, you can't have everything. If king g8, we can do several things. The easiest is probably just bishop to g5, pinning the knight to the queen. And I mean, I don't actually know how black defends there. Spiral, how's it going, mate? I hope all you guys are enjoying the stream. Hope you like the way I'm going about it. And the streams seem to be very popular currently, which is just good because I want to educate people on chess. I want people to enjoy chess, and that seems to be happening. Okay, my opponent forces my knight to move, so we shall oblige and go bishop to g5. And you can't take, of course, because of the pin on the king, and everything is about to fall in the black position. This is very resignable. Very resignable. Let's see what he does. But I don't see any counters. I don't see any way to do anything here. And yeah, this is the power of the Vienna setup. Even against the Pirc defense, which my opponent played, I still play the same ideas that I know, and I play the same tactics that I know, because patterns, right? Patterns transpose. And yeah, we just get a completely winning position in, like, what, 17 moves or something, which is pretty good. And we take the bishop with another fork, because everything is just misplaced horribly for black. I'm actually going to play e5, hitting the queen. I can take this rook whenever I want. Well, unless it moves, of course. Hello there, loved your videos. Love to hear it, Crazy. Hope you continue to love my videos. And good to see you in the live stream. Let's go queen to f3, hitting this. If takes, then I'll force a queen trade. Also threatening to force a queen trade anyway. King in the middle is a death sentence. Yes, indeed. That's why bishop takes f7 was so strong, because even if my opponent doesn't take it and fall for the tactic, it's still terrible. He could have moved king to g7, right? What, in this position? I can still go for this. I can still go for this. I mean, I'm up a rook, obviously, but... Yeah, so what I was saying before is, in this position, you can't take, because after knight takes e5 with check, the king moves, knight g4, queen g4. My king is in the center, but I'm about to castle, and there's just nothing you can do about it. So, yeah, interesting game. GG Baghel Sedant. GG. David, howdy. How's it going? You could teach the burn variation of the perk to your followers up until 1800. People consistently fall for that. Super advantageous lines 90% of the time. To be honest, Pino, I actually don't know what that is. I actually don't know. So I couldn't tell you, unfortunately. Okay. Psy Energy. One of the OGs. One of the OGs. Let's go. E4. Is being up a pawn mean I trade all my pieces? It depends. It depends on the position. There's no easy answer for that. I always forget that Psy Energy plays the most annoying lines in all of chess. I always forget. But yeah, let's just play a normal Vienna setup. Let's drop the bishop back so that d5 doesn't come with tempo. And let's go f4. You will notice I'm playing essentially the same setup as I did for a couple of the previous games, because I like it. Let's go a4 to stop this. And yeah, this is essentially transposed into a Sicilian, right? It's essentially transposed. So we're going to play the same plans. If you've been here since the start of the stream, you'll remember the Sicilian game where I did this exact same thing. This is the power of, like, playing similar openings, in my opinion. Okay, yeah. The point of moving my bishop back to b3 is so that I can meet the move d5 with the move e5. But I should also consider the move f5. However, there's way too much pressure on e4, so I need to just play e5 and kick the knight. The knight also doesn't really have any good squares. If it comes to g4, I'm just going to kick it. So it's all the way back on e8. And the e-pawn is restricting the knight's movement so much. Thank you, unknown listener. Really glad that that's useful. New here. Recommended content to understand the Vienna setup. I've got so many Vienna videos on my channel. But if you don't know the Vienna whatsoever, if you search up Chess Centurion Vienna course, I have like a 1 hour, 20-minute video going over all the important things you need to know in the Vienna game and Vienna Gambit if you have no idea how to play it. The question is, do we take with the pawn or the knight? There is an argument for both. I think the pawn, though, because I want to play f5 and I want my e-pawn defended. Like a calm version of Levy. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. How do I want to go about this? It's an interesting move, because I'm actually not sure if I want to take that. But I really shouldn't allow this. So let's take. Let's go bishop d2. Develop the bishop. And yes, there we go. My opponent falls for the trap. Bishop to b4. The rook is completely trapped by its own pieces. That was the point of bishop d2. Also, bishop d2 is just a developing move. I can challenge on the c file if I want. I can go bishop c3 if I really want. But just getting the bishop out is obviously good, just in general. But yeah, one of the main ideas is this. And the only real way I can see to stop that is either knight c7, in which case I could even just do this if I want, or a5, which means that b5 can never be played, and therefore you can't create queenside counterplay, which is great. Let's take. Let's take. The knight is coming to c4, but I'm up in exchange. Let's go rook to a7. Let's use my extra exchange. Yeah, f5 looks crushing. d4 is defended, so I don't have to worry about that. And let's go f5 to try and open up everything against the black king. Great observation, calm Levy. Previous player, whenever you play the Pirk, consider castling before pushing e5, bringing out the bishop and knight on d7. Yeah, Chris, that is a very good point. Very good point. I'm not concerned about this because, I mean... Oh, no, we actually have taken mate. Let's just get rid of the knight. You and Alex Banzea and Chess Vibes are my 3 go-to. Yeah, I think a lot of my viewers watch Alex Banzea and Chess Vibes, and they're both very good channels. Both very good channels. Okay, we have many options. I love the look of the move d5 because this bishop is quite strong, and by playing d5, the bishop sucks because it just can't get involved in the game to try and create counterplay. You can't take on e5 because of the pin, of course. I could take on f6, but black has so many defenders, I'd rather leave the tension for the time being and find a better moment to take. And I think this is a very good moment to play the move knight to f5, hitting the queen and threatening this, and putting pressure on this, although that is defended by the knight. And knight d7 is a massive threat. But you can't defend it. You can't defend it. So that's very, very nice. You also don't have any kind of check to get the queen out of the way and then deal with the threat. And also, I just have 3 pawns marching into your position, which is part of why d5 is quite good, because I can even just go like d6, d7 if I wanted to. But let's give this check. This knight is actually quite a good defensive piece, but it is only a defensive piece. It can't do anything else because it's all the way back on e8. GG Cyenergy. GG, again, I hope I'm showing you why playing the same type of setup against different openings can be very, very useful. Obviously, there's different intricacies against the different types of openings you will play, so you do need to adapt the way that you go about it. But playing a similar type of setup does make it easier, in my opinion. And I mean, it's taken me to, what, 22, 27 Blitz, which is a pretty good rating. So, okay. I will probably do a couple more games, and then I've got to get going. I've got a ton of work to do. Yeah, I do have a different business, and yeah, I need to get on with it. Doing this live stream is definitely a form of procrastination, you could argue. Okay, since we were talking about Germany earlier, Elias Chess, let's go, from Germany. If you ever want to check out the burn lines I was speaking of, I'll drop this here. Really fun how people fall for it. No kidding. Yeah, it'd be interesting. Okay, we play c6 against everything. Let's go into the Slav. I've had quite a few Slav games on my channel recently. I've been learning a lot about it myself, to be honest. I like this knight BD7 line. What business you been running? Let me show you. Let me show you. That's the business. Okay, let me set this back up. Let me set this back up. All right. Bishop to f4. Okay. Why have I just cooked my camera? Dude, I am losing all the time, and this is not an easy position. Okay, there we go. All right, so. We could take, but I don't want to. I don't think it's that good. Let's go e6. Let's go e6. Because if take, I want to take. Because I don't want take and some issues on the dark squares in my camp. All right. Let's go bishop b4. Really? I think I can take that. And play knight to e4, and the bishop can't return. That is a lot of games, yeah. That is a lot of games. This looks very dubious for white. Very dubious. Because I don't understand how you're defending this. Rook c1, I can just take on a3. This is very similar to a Cambridge Springs, which again I have played on the channel quite a few times. But the difference is in the Cambridge Springs, the bishop is on g5, pinning the knight to the queen, so things are different. Here the bishop is on f4, and I would argue it's not doing anything. a3 was definitely a mistake. 100% a mistake. Because even if we got this exact same position without the move a3, and the pawn was back on a2, after rook c1, white would be fine. Because the pawn on c3 would be defended, and a3 wouldn't be weak. Sorry, a2 would be defended by the queen, right? But here, you can't go rook c1 because I'll take. Okay, well, I should cash in my chips, right? I could actually go knight to f6, though. I think. Maybe not. Oh, wait, no, maybe we can. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it. I still don't know how you're defending c3. How long did it take you to get good recognizing openings by name? I couldn't tell you. It just takes a while, and it takes experience. You need to play games yourself. You need to watch videos, etc. There's no cheat code. There's just no cheat code. It's just time and effort, which is the same for a lot of things in life. Okay, knight back to d2. Let's take on c3 now, because my opponent is prompting me to. And we're up a clean pawn. I think knight b3 was a big issue there. I should have taken with the queen. I think knight b3 was a problem. I know I had discovered checks, but I don't think it mattered. Whew, we've been let off the hook. Although I can't come back. I can't come back. If this, then this. Ooh, this is very interesting. I come here? Here? No, that's not good. Ooh, this is really interesting. I think I just have to go back. I don't see a better option. I think at the end of the line I have this. Maybe? No, I don't. No, I don't. Oh, I think I'm just going to equal material with a worse position. Knight takes c4, queen takes c2. Oh, yeah, you might be right, actually. You might be right. Although maybe I could take with the knight first. Oh, no, then... Yeah, no, I don't think that works. Good point. Good point. Alright, let's do this. Not gonna lie, this kind of sucks, but we'll deal with it. We'll deal with it. I need to get this bishop off the board. Need to get it off the board. Let's get castled. This bishop sucks. Not even funny. Not even funny. Yeah, I mean, I suppose some people are just better at memorizing that kind of thing, but memorizing opening names, I mean, isn't all that important. Okay, I think I have to offer a queen trade. I don't want to, but I don't see a better choice. I need to try and get this bishop out, and I can't play c5 or e5 particularly successfully. d5 is an interesting option. Okay, that's not so bad. Yeah, that's fine, because I can set up a light squared blockade and play on the e-file or something. I suppose b7 is weak, though. I can go b6, or even b5. Oh yeah, I have b5. And if this, then this. If this and this. If this, that's an interesting line, because if here I get back ranked. But, okay. Let's give it a check. I would argue that we might be better here, because we have potential to create a passed pawn. And white has no breakthroughs. Let's go a5. Prepare b4, maybe. If take, we probably push a4. Not sure. Let's try and slow play this. We have a time advantage too. We have a time advantage, which makes this a bit easier. Let's start with g6. No rush, no rush. How do you stay calm with losses? Don't know. I mean, it's just a game, isn't it? I suppose. I mean, easier said than done. I understand that, but it is just a game. Let's just take some space. Let's open up some other avenues of attack. Let's just tickle the white position. There's no rush. Absolutely no rush. We're going to massage this position. That's a free pawn. Thank you very much. And that's another free pawn. Thank you very much. There we go. There we go. Opposite colored bishop positions can be very hard to win, but that's if your opponent plays perfectly, which they're not necessarily going to do. Not necessarily going to do. This f6 pawn is also very useful to restrict this bishop's movement. That's why I put the pawn on f6. GG. GG. Yeah. Very nice opening from my opponent. Yeah, I don't think this was actually that good for me. Here, take, knight in. Should I have taken first? Yeah, I should just take. And if, let's say, castles? Knight here? No. Do I have to do this? No. Do I do this? Yeah. Or something like this and knight here. Very interesting. Mr. Centurion, how does one study an opening as a beginner? How much time should be dedicated to learning one opening before learning another? Don't overthink it. They're only openings. They're only openings at the end of the day. But until you feel comfortable with it, I suppose. Okay. I'm going to play one more game. Let's go unknown listener. E4. E4. If you guys are enjoying the stream, again, please drop a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And let's go into a Vienna game. A Vienna Gambit, even. Does my opponent know how to counter it? He plays the best move, d5. Queen f3. Applying pressure to the knight. Black has 3 options here. Anything else is bad. He has three options. Which one will he choose? Most people take, which is my favorite, is castle with queens of best there. You mean queenside castle? For who? No, this doesn't work. See, interestingly, this is a line against a different type of Vienna, I think, but not against this. Not against this, because we just win a pawn. We go knight to f3. We're going to play d4. We're going to take a massive center, and black is going to not have a fun time. Not have a fun time whatsoever. It's not just the fact we're up a pawn. It's that my position is so dominant. Okay. Here, I believe the move is c3. We force d4 on the board. You can't stop it because you have no c-pawn to help you out. And then I build this massive pawn chain, which is just stupidly strong. Bishop d3 on the way. Castles. I mean, this is much better than just being up a pawn. This is almost completely winning. Almost completely winning. Of course, you should be aware of this, but I mean, f6 isn't particularly concerning. Was it smart to castle once queens were off your opponent? Ah! Oh, sorry, I see what you mean there. I don't see why not. The start of bishop g5, hitting the queen. Obviously, g6 does stop mate, but it also weakens the dark squares quite significantly. And a trade of bishops should favor me. Don't know why my game request isn't being accepted. I think it's because I'm already in a game right now, and chess.com just doesn't let you send challenges when I'm already in a game. We can consider this. We can consider this. I think I really like this move, bishop f6. Just applying a ton of pressure. And I know that this exists. So, for example, if I castle here, after takes, I lose my queen. So I'm going to take there. f6 potentially on the way. So I should probably sidestep the e-file and control f6 myself. And now we're going to prepare to castle. Maybe we're going to go knight to g5. Looks pretty good. If my opponent offers me a queen trade, I'll probably just accept it, to be honest, and just get castled, because I don't understand how black forms any kind of counterplay, because f6 just isn't going to happen. And even if it does, I don't think it helps that much. h6 stops this, sure. I could give this check if I want, but that's not going anywhere. Also, queen g4, I could just give a check. That's also playable. I could also shift this bishop to c4 to target the weak f7 pawn if I want. Before that, I have... Oh, well, probably on the live stream, it may have showed that I wasn't in a game yet, but there is a little bit of a delay, so that's probably why. That's probably why. Okay. Let's shift the focus. Let's shift the focus onto f7. We could bring the knight into e4 to target the weak dark squares and also open up the rook. That's an interesting move. That's an interesting move. I think I just have to drop my bishop back, to be honest. c5 would be an interesting option. Try and justify knight a5. Okay, he's trying to exert control over c4 to maybe get a trade. Let's drop our knight back to d2. 1 to control c4, 2 to prepare knight to e4, 3 to open up the rook. Seems very logical to me. Remember, we are up a pawn in this position, so trades are okay. For example, if queen to g5, we could just trade. That's fine. Trades are fine. We could also try and build up a pawn chain on the light squares if we want. That's also an option. We could play b4 to kick the knight back if we want, because now it doesn't have the c4 square to go to, because we're controlling that. Again, c5 is an interesting option. Yeah, my opponent goes for a queen trade. I'm happy with that. No issue. Let's go b4. Kick the knight. And this looks interesting. Just shoving my rook right into my opponent's territory, ready to double up. Okay. Maybe this is the threat. Let's just bring the knight to f3. Defend that, because, you know, that's maybe frustrating. Now we can go ahead and take on g5. Oh, wait, if I blundered that? I did see this was an option, but I thought it was okay. Because I thought I had this, but there is this. But then there's this. I think that's okay. Good find from my opponent, though. Good find. Take. But the important part is that this comes with check. So you can't take my bishop. Interesting tactics going on, but let's just drop the bishop back to f1, cover the back rank with the bishop, and now let's get my rook involved. Okay, rook e1 check. Let's go a4. And let's go rook e3. Yeah, then we secure a trade. Also was just preemptively defending c3, ready to play a5. And now we're just up a bishop, so, you know. You should only play chess if you have a passion for it. Yeah, probably. I think I agree. Chess can be incredibly rewarding, but also incredibly frustrating. So you're not going to get much out of it if you don't care about it and want to improve. Good move from my opponent. If take, then take. Oh, wait, no, you can't do that. It comes with check. I should have just... whatever. Whatever. Oh, this is actually really strong, though. This pawn is lost, and I'm just going to promote. You can't stop the promotion. And this pawn is taken care of. And my opponent resigns. Good game. He fought back really nicely, actually. GG. He fought back really nicely with his tactic here. So I had seen it. I probably should have just played a move like bishop to e4 and just gotten the bishop out of danger. But for some reason, I decided to go for this. And this is actually okay for black. If he... Oh, wow. This is the best move. Not even taking the rook. And I suppose I have to go for this. And I'm up a pawn with good pressure. Check. Here. This is defended. I suppose white is still probably better. Maybe I can do this. Maybe I can... I don't know. It's difficult. The thing is, if the king goes to the back rank, then it's probably winning because of how weak g6 is. But king h6 seems to be a good move. Can I not take, though? Can I just play this? Oh, no, then I drop the rook, of course. So, yeah, I have to go ahead and take. Really good job from my opponent, but fortunately for us, he took the rook, and I believed that this was winning. Better was to take the bishop, which is what I saw. And then I saw knight to b7, and I thought that I'd bring my knight over, and I'm good. I could throw in a check as well, and go... Oh, I can just go and win f7 as well. Yeah, that's even better, actually. So, yeah, good game. I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream. I'm going to get going now. I'm starving, and I also have a ton of work to do. Thank you all for supporting the channel and for playing chess with me. It's been a good live stream. And, yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you in the next stream. And check out my videos, because they're really good.